Let me back up, if I can, to the question of race, because I don't think we've fully explored that. At least there's some people here still seem comfortable. At least it was my experience that the debacle with the state party involving replacing on the ballot one of our judicial candidates, which managed to be a YouTube hit, reinforced every bad thing that voters in Alabama thought about the state Democratic Party as evidence of institutionalized racism. And whether or not it was or not, it played the type. Richard, what impact do you think that fight had on the election, and what long-term impact do you think that fight, and particularly the way that it was accurately or not portrayed in the media?
It's going to have long-term effects on both organizing and on fundraising. I have personally been told by some very heavy hitters, if you want to call them that as long as Dr. Lee is part of the problem, they are not going to contribute money. We're going to have to find it elsewhere. I think there's a perception out there that Dr. Reed stuck his hand in local politics. And our committee, the county committee, passed a resolution because the state Democratic committee asked us to tell them who we wanted. And when your county committee passes a resolution and say we want Nikki Still and someone else is elected, that in itself is very, very disheartening to the local committee. Some people feel entitled. Some people don't. That's something we've got to look at ourselves and say, did we earn this? Or is it because I'm white or whether I'm black? I think the main component is called competence and honesty. Are you going to be a competent judge? Are you going to be a competent legislator regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, regardless of your sexual orientation? Okay? That is what we need to say is, are you going to be competent? Now, Theo Lawson's sitting out there, and I know he's competent. And I voted for him. And I don't know the current district attorney. I know one thing. I know he's a Republican. It's something that we're going to have to talk about and look at. It's not the issue of race anymore. It's called the issue of competence. Okay?
Well, okay. Do the voters in Alabama still vote based on race?
On race?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are there a bunch of white folks that are never going to vote for a black person for elected office?
Absolutely.
Are there a bunch of black folks that are never going to vote for a white person for elected office?
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I think so.
You think so?
I do, but I don't know that for sure.
I actually don't know that based on my experience.
You know, black folks have had to vote for non-African Americans for many, many years because there were no African Americans running. Right. So, you know, we've often, and I hate to now just be the poster child for all African Americans. But one of the challenges, why I guess race is so an issue that is just right there in my face right now, because we have been dealing with some things in our own Democratic caucus in the legislature where we've had white members say that they would leave the party if an African American were chair of the Democratic Party in the legislature.
We ought to chase them out of the party.
Well, hey, and that's what, and believe it or not, I'll say Patricia Todd actually said that. She did say that. She actually said, did say, actually, why don't we just let, the door hit you, and so on and so forth. But black folks have for many years, and I think that was my problem as we were having the discussion. So you mean to tell me that African Americans and non-whites have trusted folks that we believed in for many years to look out for our interest? You did not have to share my color. You talked about competence, Richard. But as an African American, you don't trust that I could represent you and your interests. So we are dealing with that issue. I hope at some point, and I don't know how to do it, I wish I had the answer, that we could get beyond this issue. But we're going to have a real deal dialogue as a party. We get some things behind us. And we may even have some additional issues that we need to talk about in order to move forward. But to hear that was so disheartening, especially after the way that we lost. In the House, I'll use the House, there are 105 members. When I came in 2002, there were 66 Democrats. Now there are 39 of us left out of 105. We do not have room to have a problem with each other anywhere. We were laughing today. There were about 6 of us that were on the elevator to get together, and we were saying, hey, we might as well go ahead and have a delegation meeting right here. We have one. we just have to get these issues, we have to get over it in a nutshell so we can move forward and move the party forward.
Follow that up really quickly, just because I think that you're exactly right. I think that we can't expect voters in Alabama to get over the race issue when the Democratic Party in Alabama can't get over the race issue.
That's right.
And until we talk about it, and the last year everybody wants to just pretend like it doesn't exist. But it does. I mean, I got phone calls that would say things like, did you send white canvassers to black doors? and things like that. I mean, as a party, we have to decide that we're going to get over race before we can expect the voters to do that.